This PC meets 99% of all games. It'll run anything. It's nice to be able to just turn ray tracing on and not have to worry about having a low frame rate. You get the frame rate, you get the graphics. It doesn't feel like you're paying the price in any way in terms of performance. I'm back in the office. I have done a lot of testing on the PC. I've done a lot of using of the PC. So now it's time to get down to the facts, the figures, and just look at the performance of the PC in general. Don't forget, if you guys want to go check out this PC and maybe grab it for yourself, then the link is in the description below so you can go check it out. I have done some benchmarking on benchmarking software. I have also played a variety of games to experience them and to get sort of some numbers as to performance in those games. Obviously, I can't test every game, so I've tried to pick a bit of a selection of games, esports titles to more graphically intense games to games with ray tracing. I've just tried to sprinkle a little bit of everything, but obviously without making the video 3,000 hours long. What I think is important is we start off with benchmarking software. So benchmarking is a better comparison of performance than just like FPS in a game, for example. When games are built, they are not particularly built for one specific spec of PC, if that makes sense. They're built to work for as many different PCs and as many different combinations of CPUs and GPUs and RAMs and all that stuff. As well, games are not always specifically optimized or well optimized, so there is a disparity there. Whereas with benchmarking software, it is running the same scene, it is running the same process on your components to give you a score, which is easily comparable against something else like another GPU or another CPU, because it's doing the same test over and over again. If it doesn't mean a lot to you, then that's fine. They are just numbers and a score at the end of the day. And I get that, you know, FPS might be what you're looking for specifically, and like performance in game, which is why I also did the performance in games, because that's where you're actually going to use and you're going to play and you're going to feel the difference compared to the benchmarking, where it's just going to tell you a number and you're going to be like, that's a good number. Oh, look, it's better than this other number from another GPU. Around 3 of the most popular common benchmarking softwares, we ran Heaven, we ran Cinebench, and we ran 3D Mark. They were the 3 that I chose to use. There were probably a bunch of other ones out there, but those are the 3 that I have used before and know the best. So we'll start off here with Cinebench. This is the Cinebench run that I did. I ran it on the GPU and the CPU on multi-core and single core. I just ran all of them to do all of the things and test all of the stuff and give me a score for everything. So Cinebench, it runs these performance tests and gives you a score, and then it does give you like a ranking, a comparison. GPU wise, we ended up with 16,970 points, CPU multi-core 521 points, and CPU single core 97 points. So again, that might not mean a lot, but if you look at the comparisons, if you look at scores for other GPUs and stuff, you'll see that this is clearly a very powerful GPU and CPU. Obviously with the 4070, I guess depending on what kind of card you have, what brand, what cooler, whether it's liquid cooled, whether it's air cooled, the score is going to vary, I guess. In this case, it's a 3-fan 4070. If you want to look online for other Cinebench runs for other GPUs, whether you're interested in a 4060 or you want to see how it compares to the 3070, for example, then obviously you can look those up and you'll be able to compare the numbers. Next, we will look at the 3D Mark run. Again, it runs like a short video that is repeatable. It is the same thing. I say a video, it's not really a video. It's not just playing a video. It is rendering it out and stuff. It is actually doing a lot of work, which is why it's a good test. So graphics score, we got 17,773. CPU, we got 8,099. And overall, it gave us a score of 15,072 for the whole system, I guess. Again, it says the average here is 16,476, which I guess is from the same hardware, the same spec hardware. But again, depending on the cooling you're using on CPU and GPU and stuff like that, depending on how much cooling is in the case, whether you're liquid cooling, that is going to potentially improve your performance. By the way, these are rendering at 1440p. I quickly learned that after doing some 1080p testing that This machine is amazing for 1080p. It will play anything. It will smash 1080p. 1440p I feel is like the sweet spot for it. It's great for 1440p. You can get some like nice high frame rates. You can like whack on ray tracing and ultra quality in games and be able to get above 60 frames consistently. And then in terms of 4K, I did a little bit of testing on that. And obviously depending on the game you're going to play, 60 FPS in 4K, probably not at ultra mega graphical spec. You might have to dial that down a bit, but this is definitely a capable 4K machine. But I would say that 1440p 2K is its sweet spot where it really excels, because it can really play and game at 1440p smoothly and consistently at a decent frame rate. And obviously if you're playing at 1080p, then you're just going to have frames for days. So the final test we have is Heaven. Heaven was probably one of the first benchmarks I ran. Again, it's a really nice looking, graphically beautiful scene that it renders, and it's nice to watch. But this is where I started testing, and I think I started testing at 1080p just to see how it went. I went 1080p extreme, just go for like the beefiest, give me the best graphics at 1080p you can on this benchmark. And I realized that it was so good. I was like, I don't think 1080p is where we're looking. I might still be stuck back in the past a little bit, because it's 1440p where we should really be looking at. So we stepped it up to 1440p, again on extreme, ultra graphics, give me all of the graphics, and we ended up with an average FPS of 101.5, a score of 2,557, which again, the score doesn't mean a hell of a lot unless you're comparing to other stuff, but minimum FPS we got 31 and maximum FPS 247.5. So these are just the results as they stand, but 101 as an average frame rate I think is really good at 1440p. Those are the benchmark scores. Now I think that they are important to know because they are the numbers, they are statistics, they are the graph that you can track, okay? You can compare this, you can go, what is this computer versus this computer like in performance? These are the numbers. I do realize that these scores are kind of hard to, they don't necessarily mean much when you're just saying a number, so it is about comparison and comparing them. Like I said, the best way to really look at benchmark scores is to compare them against a different PC. So I have done a little bit of benchmarking myself on some other PCs so that I can give you guys a little bit of a comparison. I'm going to put those scores on screen now for you to take a look at, but you can just see that the difference, the different specs, different performing hardware, different levels of hardware really make on a PC, and how these scores differ, and you can see how really well performing this VIBOX PC really is. I'm giving you the results I got, okay? This is an honest review where I'm giving you the results I got, and the numbers don't speak much, but the gameplay and the feel of gaming on the machine really did feel great. It felt amazing. Now, the other thing that I looked at is there's a website called Can You Run It? And it has a list of games, and you can test if your PC can run these games. So if a new game comes out and you're like, not sure, like, is my PC going to meet the minimum spec or even the recommended spec of it, then you can go on this website and it will be able to do that for you. It'll run anything. It'll pretty much run anything at recommended. It is really, really a beast of a PC. Say you're looking at a game specifically and you want to buy a PC that will run that game. This PC meets 99% of all games on this website. It will run pretty much anything. So I think that goes to show you like really how powerful this PC is and how capable it is of gaming. But talking of gaming, shall we move on to the gaming stuff? So the games I decided to test were Minecraft, Fortnite, Counter-Strike, Hogwarts Legacy, F123, Cyberpunk. I figured they were a good collective of games that varied from being graphically intense to being commonly played and games that people like playing, like Fortnite. I'm not saying Fortnite is not particularly graphically intense because it has ray tracing capabilities and everything, but we ran all those games at 1440p. My experience, every single one of them was playable. Every single one of them was beautiful. Being able to actually like have enabled ray tracing on and not have to think, like my brain still sits back in the day when ray tracing first came out and the RTX 2060, which was the first ray tracing card I ever had. It was a low-end card. I remember thinking like, if I had a game that had ray tracing capabilities, it was like, is it worth the hit in frame rate to run ray tracing? It looks lovely, but I'm now getting like less than 30 FPS. Whereas, now that ray tracing has come a long way, it's nice to be able to just turn ray tracing on and not have to worry about having a low frame rate. You get the frame rate, you get the graphics. It doesn't feel like you're paying the price in any way in terms of performance. Obviously, if you turn off ray tracing, you do get more frames, but you can have both. You can have a playable experience and beautiful ray traced graphics. Minecraft has the option of ray tracing, and so that was something I definitely wanted to check out. And clearly, Minecraft generally is not a graphically intense game, but obviously with modding and shaders and ray tracing, it can become quite graphically intense. And so that was what I really wanted to test. And again, such a perfect experience. It just works. It looks lovely. It plays well. It worked really good. And Cyberpunk was another one that I wanted to look at specifically because I know it has ray tracing capabilities, but also because this is a 4070, a 40 series graphics card, there is extra DLSS support that NVIDIA give, which means that it is able to do a bit of like frame generation and things like that, which give you extra frames, are able to produce a better frame rate than you would be able to get if you didn't have a 40 series graphics card, for example. So having played with that and experienced that, again, I kind of let the PC decide what kind of specs, what kind of settings it wanted to be on, and most of the time it was ultra. It wanted to be on ultra high, it wanted ray tracing on. If the PC says it can do that, I'm gonna let it do that. That's what it's decided, and that's what it's chosen for me. And I played it, and again, just a smooth, fun, enjoyable gameplay experience. I'll take a look at the rest of this gameplay footage where I have recorded the FPS in these games to show you guys exactly what the performance looks like in these games. those were the performances in game. And like I said, the performance I felt when I was playing was great. If this was my PC that I ran every single day, that I played my games on, that I made my content on like I'm doing now, I would be more than happy. This machine will do everything I want it to do and probably more. It will play the games I want it to play at a nice high resolution with a high frame rate. It's able to edit if I wanted it to edit. I have no doubt it would be good at editing. Streaming, same thing. It is a really, really nice high-end PC, and it was a super fun thing to take a look at and review. It looks beautiful, it plays beautiful, it runs beautiful. What more can I say? I don't see a world in which you buy a PC like this and you go, it's not quite got the performance I want, because it just does everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it useful. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, guys, if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!